You remember where you were when it happened. Maybe it was a Tuesday morning. Maybe it was right after lunch. Maybe it was during a video call that you thought was a routine check-in with your manager, until you noticed someone from HR sitting in the corner of the screen, silent, waiting. The words came fast: restructuring, difficult decision, nothing to do with your performance. Effective immediately, you would receive details about severance in an email. They thanked you for your contributions. And then, just like that, you were outside the building, or logged out of the system, or sitting at your kitchen table, staring at a wall, trying to understand what had just happened. You did everything right. You showed up on time, you hit your targets, you stayed late when they asked, you skipped vacations, you answered emails at midnight. You were loyal, you were reliable, you were safe, or so you thought. But it turns out, you were never safe. You were just next. This is a video about one of the most dangerous beliefs in modern life. The belief in job security. The quiet assumption that if you work hard, stay valuable, and remain loyal to your employer, they will remain loyal to you. That there is a relationship of mutual commitment. That the job will be there tomorrow, and next year, and for as long as you need it to be. I am going to show you why that belief is an illusion. Not to scare you, not to make you anxious, but to wake you up. Because the illusion of job security is more dangerous than insecurity itself. When you believe you are safe, you stop preparing, you stop building, you stop thinking about what happens if the ground disappears. And when it does, you fall further than you ever needed to. Let us start with the simple truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Your employer does not owe you anything, not morally, not legally, not emotionally. The relationship between you and your company is transactional. You provide labor, they provide money. Either party can end the arrangement at any time, for almost any reason, with minimal notice. In most of the United States, employment is what is called at will. This means your employer can terminate you at any moment, without warning, without cause, without explanation. They do not need a reason. They do not need to prove you did something wrong. They can simply decide that they no longer need you, and that is enough. You will be walked to the door. Your access badge will be deactivated. Your email will be shut off before you reach your car. This is not some rare worst-case scenario. This is the legal default. This is how the system is designed. And yet, despite this, millions of people walk into work every day, believing they are protected by something. Seniority, relationships, past performance, some invisible contract of fairness that exists in their minds, but nowhere else. The company does not share this belief. The company has lawyers who know exactly what they can and cannot do. The company has spreadsheets that calculate your cost versus your output. The company has executives who will eliminate your entire department if it improves the quarterly earnings report by 3%. You are a line item, and line items get deleted. Let me tell you a story that might feel familiar. A man works at a company for 12 years. He starts in an entry-level position. He works his way up. He becomes a manager. He trains new employees. He builds relationships with clients. He knows the systems better than anyone. He believes he is essential. Then one day, there is an acquisition, a merger, a new leadership team with a new vision and a new budget. They look at the org chart. They see a middle manager making a salary that 2 junior employees could split. They do not know his history. They do not know his contributions. They do not know that he missed his daughter's birthday party 3 times to meet deadlines for this company. They know his cost. That is what they know. And his cost is too high. He is called into a meeting, the same meeting you imagined at the beginning of this video. Restructuring, difficult decision, nothing personal. And just like that, 12 years of loyalty evaporate in 11 minutes. This is not a tragedy. This is a Tuesday. This happens thousands of times a day, across every industry, in every country, with a modern economy. You might be thinking, that will not happen to me. I am different. I am valuable. I have skills. I have relationships. My boss likes me. Let me be very clear about something. Every single person who has ever been laid off believes some version of what you just thought. Every single one of them had a reason to believe they were safe, and every single one of them was wrong. Value does not protect you. Performance does not protect you. Loyalty certainly does not protect you. The only thing that protects you is leverage, and employees, by design, have very little of it. Let me explain why job security used to feel real, and why that feeling has become a trap. There was a time, not that long ago, when the relationship between employer and employee was different. After World War II, through the 1960s and 70s, there was an unspoken social contract. You gave a company your career. They gave you stability, pensions, healthcare, a gold watch at retirement. You could work at one company for 40 years and retire with dignity. This was not generosity, it was economics. Companies needed loyalty because training workers was expensive and labor was scarce. Unions had power. Workers had options. The system, for a brief window, was balanced. That window has closed. Starting in the 1980s, the philosophy of corporate management shifted. Shareholder value became the primary objective. Efficiency became the religion. Consultants taught executives to view labor as a variable cost, something to be minimized, outsourced, automated, eliminated. Layoffs stopped being a last resort and became a strategy, a way to boost stock prices, a way to signal fiscal discipline to Wall Street. The social contract was torn up, but the memory of it remained. And that memory became a ghost that still haunts us. We still believe, somewhere deep down, that if we work hard and stay loyal, the company will take care of us. Because that is what our parents told us. That is what their experience taught them. But their experience was from a different economy, a different era, a different deal. You inherited the expectation of security without the system that provided it. And now, you are standing on ground that looks solid, but is not. You are building a life on a foundation that can be pulled away at any moment, without warning, without recourse, without apology. Let me talk about what is coming, because if the present is unstable, the future is terrifying. Automation is not a theory, it is happening. Every year, the number of jobs that can be performed by software, by algorithms, by machines, grows larger. And it is no longer just factory work. It is no longer just routine tasks. It is legal research. It is medical diagnosis. It is financial analysis. It is graphic design and copywriting and customer service and project management. If your job involves sitting at a computer and processing information, you are not safe. The technology is not perfect yet, but it does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be cheaper than you, and it will be. It always is, eventually. Companies do not care about preserving jobs. They care about reducing costs, and labor is almost always the biggest cost. The moment a machine can do your job at 60% of the quality for 10% of the cost, you will be replaced. Not because you failed, because the math changed. This is not a reason to panic, but it is a reason to stop believing that your job will always exist. It might not. Your entire profession might not. And if you spend 20 years climbing a ladder that gets automated out of existence, you will find yourself at the top of nothing. Let me pause here for a moment. If you are watching this and feeling uncomfortable, that discomfort is important. Do not push it away. Sit with it, because discomfort is the beginning of awareness, and awareness is the beginning of change. I make these videos because I believe most people are walking through life asleep, following a script that was written for a world that no longer exists. If this video is helping you see something you did not see before, you are not alone. There are millions of people waking up to the same realization. If you want to keep exploring these ideas, subscribe to this channel. I do not say that because I want the numbers. I say it because I want you to keep questioning. I want you to keep thinking. I want you to stay awake. Now let us keep going. Here is what job security really means. It does not mean your job is secure. It means you feel secure, and that feeling is manufactured. It is produced by routine, by direct deposit, by the familiarity of your commute and the predictability of your calendar. You feel safe because nothing bad has happened yet. But the absence of crisis is not the same as the presence of stability. Think about it. What would happen if you lost your job tomorrow? Not next year, tomorrow. How many months could you survive? Do you have savings? Do you have other income? Do you have skills that could immediately translate into a new opportunity? Or would you be scrambling, updating a resume you have not touched in years, calling in favors, trying to explain a gap in employment to a hiring manager who has 200 other applicants? Most people do not have a backup plan. Most people are one missed paycheck away from serious financial stress. And yet, most people behave as though the paycheck will never stop. They spend what they earn. They build lifestyles calibrated to their salary. They assume the job will always be there. This is not stupidity. This is psychology. The human brain is not good at preparing for threats it has not yet experienced. We are wired for immediate danger, not slow erosion. The job feels safe because it has always been there, and so we do not prepare for its absence. But the absence is coming. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but at some point in your career, you will be let go. You will be laid off, downsized, restructured, automated, or simply replaced by someone younger and cheaper. This is not pessimism. This is statistics. The average person changes jobs every 4 years. and not always by choice. The question is not whether disruption will happen. The question is whether you will be ready when it does. Let me tell you what actually makes you secure. It is not your job, it is your options. Security comes from having multiple sources of income, so that the loss of one does not destroy you. Security comes from having skills that are transferable, that are valuable in more than one context, that cannot be easily replicated by a machine. Security comes from having savings, real savings, enough to survive for months without panic. Security comes from relationships, a network of people who know your work and would vouch for you. Security comes from adaptability, the ability to reinvent yourself when circumstances change. None of these things are given to you by an employer. None of them appear in your benefits package. You have to build them yourself, and you have to build them while you still have a job, while you still have income, while you still have time, because once the ground disappears, it is too late. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The most dangerous time is when you feel safest, when the job is going well, when the paychecks are steady, when there is no threat on the horizon. That is when you stop building. That is when you get comfortable. That is when you let your skills stagnate, your network decay, your savings shrink. And then years later, when the email comes, when the meeting is scheduled, when the HR representative appears on the video call, you realize you have nothing. You gave everything to the job, and the job gave you nothing back but a routine that is now over. I'm not telling you to quit. I'm not telling you to hate your job. I am telling you to stop trusting it. Work there, take the paycheck, do good work, but never, for a single moment, believe that the job cares about you. It does not. It cannot. It is not a person. It is a system, and systems optimize for themselves, not for you. You are the only one who will optimize for you. You are the only one who will build your safety net. You are the only one who will prepare for the day when the routine ends. Job security is not something you receive. It is something you build. And you build it by accepting fully and completely that no job is ever truly secure. This is not a sad realization. It is a liberating one. Because once you stop outsourcing your security to an employer, you start taking control. You start building income outside your job. You start developing skills that no one can take away. You start saving with urgency instead of vague intention. You start treating your career as something you own, not something you borrow. The people who thrive in this economy are not the ones with the best jobs. They are the ones who understand that the job is temporary, that everything is temporary, and that the only real security is the one you carry with you. Let me leave you with this. You were never safe. You were just comfortable, and comfort is not safety. Comfort is what happens before the fall. It is the warm feeling of standing on a trapdoor that has not yet opened. The door will open. It always does. The question is whether you will be ready to land on your feet, whether you have built something beneath you, whether you have prepared for a moment that your brain does not want to think about. I know this is heavy. I know it is easier to believe in the illusion. I know it feels better to trust that the job will always be there. But better is not safer, and the world does not care about your comfort. Wake up. Build your options. Stop trusting systems that do not trust you back. Because the only security that exists is the kind you create yourself. And you do not have as much time as you think.